The only equipment that will be needed to perform the 1 mile jogging test and 1 mile walking test is proper running attire, a 400-meter track, a heart rate monitor, which is optional. You can also calculate this manually, a pencil and paper, and a stopwatch. Different variations of dynamic stretching will be shown in the following. The first variation of dynamic stretching shown is the walking soldier, which is great to stretch the hamstrings and hip flexors. Next are walking knee tucks, which are great for hip mobility and to stretch the gluteal muscles. Butt kicks are another common dynamic stretch performed, which are great to stretch the quadriceps. The last variation shown are walking lunges, which include a trunk twist. This is good to stretch the abdominals, hip flexors, groin area, and also the quadriceps. The 1 mile jogging test is a submaximal test that is appropriate for 18 to 29-year-old men and women. It requires steady state exertion. Heart rate must be immediately measured following the test. The time to complete the test should be at least 8 minutes for males and 9 minutes for females. Because it is a submaximal test, heart rate should not exceed 180 beats per minute. I completed the 1 mile jogging test at a moderate pace. I went ahead and calculated my heart rate by counting 15 seconds and multiplied that value by 4 to obtain my heart rate using the carotid artery. The 1 mile walking test, also known as the Rockport 1 mile walk test, is a submaximal test that is ideal for 20 to 69-year-old men and women. The goal of this test is to walk as fast as possible without running or stopping. Heart rate must be immediately measured following the test, and it is most appropriate for sedentary or older populations. Immediately following the walking test, I calculated my heart rate using the same procedure as the 1 mile jogging test. The carotid artery was most appropriate for me, but the radial artery is also acceptable, which is located on the anterior portion of the wrist. Static stretching was used to cool down after each test. Toe touches are used to stretch the lower back, hamstrings, and calves. Cherry pickers are also ideal to stretch the hamstrings, glutes, and calves. Seated alternating hamstring stretches require you to use the opposite arm and stretch the opposite foot and work to stretch the hamstrings. Last but not least, the butterfly stretch works to stretch the hip adductors and the groin area. In order to calculate my VO2 max from the 1 mile jogging test, I went ahead and followed the formula given. I converted my body weight from pounds into kilograms. The time was converted from seconds into minutes. I went ahead and plugged in my heart rate, which was calculated at the end of the jogging test, and the gender variable given is 1 for males and 0 for females. In order to convert the seconds into minutes, I took the seconds from my time, divided that by 60, and ended up with 0.25. I plugged in the variables into the formula: 72 kilograms for my body weight, 8.25 for my time, 152 for my heart rate, and the gender variable is 1. I plugged this into the formula and ended up with 55.8. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, I'm classified as superior according to my age. I used this formula in order to calculate my VO2 max for the 1 mile walking test. In this formula, my body weight did not need to be converted into kilograms and remained at pounds. I went ahead and plugged in my age, which is 22, into the formula. The gender variable remained the same, which is 1 for males and 0 for females. The time, however, still needed to be converted from seconds into minutes. And also the heart rate, which was calculated at the end of the walking test, was also plugged into the formula. My time conversion was 13 minutes and 12 seconds. I went ahead and took the 12 seconds and divided that by 60 in order to get 0.20. I went ahead and plugged in the variables into the formula, which is 158 pounds, 22 years, the gender variable, which is 1, 13.20 for the time, and 144 for my heart rate. I went ahead and simplified the equation and ended up with 52.85. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, I was classified as excellent, which is a little bit below superior, according to my age. This is a chart that I used in order to assess my VO2 max classification and could be found in the American College of Sports Medicine's Resources for the Exercise Physiologist and is a great baseline in order to let anybody know where they stand in their cardiorespiratory fitness.